Hey everybody, it's been a really long time since I've done a video. I know everybody's having a hard time with the coronavirus and being in quarantine. Fortunately, I'm essential, and so I have to keep going to work. And now all my kids are home all the time. But let's talk Hoard of the Dragon Queen, all right? I started this campaign a year and a half ago for one of my groups. Now that we can no longer meet in person, play has slowed way down. I am actually running several different campaigns. Hoard of the Dragon Queen, Curse of Strahd. I'm also running Sunless Citadel. I am also playing in Princes of the Apocalypse. And what else are we doing? Oh, and I'm getting ready to run Descent into Avernus. I received the Platinum Edition from Beetle and Grimm. I was going to do an unboxing, but I decided there's just so many videos like that. I would rather get a chance to actually use their product with my players and then tell you guys how it went over. Unfortunately, we can't play in person right now. And then not only that, I'm waiting to have my Dwarven Forge Hellscape that I ordered to come in before I actually start running my Descent into Avernus. Hopefully, what my plan is, I'm going to run Hoard of the Dragon Queen, go into the Rise of Tiamat. Once we are done with Rise of Tiamat, my plan is to have the same characters retire and bring in the new player characters and roll right into the Descent to Avernus. So I'm looking at probably another year before I can actually play Descent into Avernus. I also got the Silver Edition of The Secret of Saltmarsh. I am hoping that I will be able to use parts of that throughout Hoard of the Dragon Queen and Rise of Tiamat. One of my players, she's a twin. Her twin is missing, and so I'm going to be having him show up in a town that's very similar to Saltmarsh. I may keep the same name, I may not. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it plays out. So the first thing I'm going to say is, number one, flesh out the entire city of Greenest. Make it a place where your characters, your player characters, are going to be invested. They're going to like these people. They're going to want to save them. They're going to want to help them, and flesh it all out. Your people are going to be spending more time there than you would think, especially because, I mean, they've only dedicated maybe like 3 pages out of the book into it. That's where it starts. You talk about what's going on in the fighting. The champion shows up, and then you start going into the rear guard that you're going to run into on your way to the camp. That's all that they talk about Greenest. You're going to want to flesh out that city, that town, way more and spend more time there than you would think from reading the book. Otherwise, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, in my mind. And that brings me to part number 2, which is decide how you want your people to actually interact with Greenest at the first. How do you want them to come to the city? Did they grow up there? Did they know it? Did they show up there as part of a caravan like mine? That's something you're going to have to decide that fits for you. So now let's get into the meat of running Hoard of the Dragon Queen. There's a lot of problems in this book, but they're pretty easy to overcome with a little bit of foreplanning. Anytime you buy a module that's already been written, you're gonna have to tweak it and change it to match your group. I'm very lucky. All of my players are committed, and I don't really have any huge problem players who try to derail the game or who try to break things down. Everybody's there to play. They want to play. They don't want to screw over the group. So those problems are already out of the way for me. When you first start Hoard of the Dragon Queen, right away there's some glaring problems. Your level 1 characters are supposed to be on the road and they see a city that's being attacked by a full-grown adult blue dragon. Anybody who knows anything knows that they are not going to stand up to a dragon like that. It's just going to be a problem right out the get-go. So I fixed that by having my characters start out as being guards for a caravan that's bringing some goods into the city of Greenest. That is where their contract ends. They get paid, and they decide what they're going to do with their pay. The city is not under attack. I did not start them at level 1. I figured you guys are already good enough to be guards for a caravan. We're going to start you off at level 3. So that gave them a chance to introduce themselves to each other. It eliminated any problems with them not knowing each other because their characters had already been traveling and guarding this and had gone into a couple of battles together.